football fans, and welcome to The Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and this week, going dynamic duo, Dave Oster back on the podcast. Mark is absent this week.
Surprise, surprise. I think we're just trading off. Like, Mark and I can't confirm, but are we the same person? Never been in the same place at the same time. I'm just saying.
As of late, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is we're playing some NBA Jams right now. I'm Scottie Pippen. You guys are Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong. You're not going to not pick Scottie, right?
It's a tough decision to not pick Scottie.
Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong would be a killer lineup.
Think about it.
Boom shakalaka, right?
Yeah.
But this week on the podcast, we're going to be a very low news week in the NFL.
Summer and football is a horrible combination.
Unless you want to talk CFL. Chad Johnson had one pass.
One reception,
catch.
yeah.
One pass catch.
Big numbers for Chad Johnson. I'm glad he's still pulling out that Hall of Fame jacket.
But today we have Washington Redskins news in the saga, which is their name. And then we're going to have an interesting segment that Dave here came up with. I'm going to tease that. We'll have that later in the podcast with some NFL quarterbacks. But, Dave, this week, the biggest news coming out of the NFL, the name change for the Redskins is now getting some new fuel as the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office canceled the patent for the Washington Redskins, the trademark, I should say, because they said it is, and I quote, disparaging to Native Americans.
It's a first step, I guess, as far as a name change goes. But, I mean, this has been done before. Remember, over a decade ago at this point, they attempted to make the same claim, but it was overturned due to some sloppy paperwork. Mm-hmm. Redskins called them on it and got it overturned eventually. Took a long time to go through that process.
See, this is the thing that I don't understand, because really we have two sides to this argument. The one side is, of course, that the name's racist, which it kind of is, but there's also the other side that, you can't change it because of tradition. There's a tradition with the name. You can't change it.
Yeah, and see, I don't buy the tradition thing. I'm sorry. I mean,
the Thunder changed. They moved and changed their name, and look at what they're doing in the NBA.
Well, Seattle hates them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they
still, they changed
Seattle's
their name
trying to
with all their tradition.
Yeah. Seattle's still trying to get that team back.
The Colts left Baltimore, and look at what they're doing.
I mean, yeah.
The Colts left Baltimore in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that was a shady exit, to say the least. I mean, the Cleveland Browns return. I mean,
would you expect anything else from Jim Irsay?
No, he's not a very honest man, to say the least.
Or Irsay Sr., I should say, because he was Irsay Sr. at the time.
Yeah. But no, I think the whole thing is, I would buy it maybe if it was like baseball, where it's like 100-year-old teams, but it's not. And in football is less dependent or like stood up by its history. Mm-hmm. I think maybe if the Redskins were a legitimate franchise that had like championship stride, decades.
The thing I think about is look at yet again the Houston Oilers. They moved to Tennessee Titans, and look at. They
were the Tennessee Oilers for a short period of time,
but then they went Tennessee Titans. They made the Super Bowl.
So we're saying name change equals success.
Hey, look at what happened when the Browns moved to Baltimore to be the Ravens.
Well,
and then the new Browns came in and said, no, all those records are going to stay with Baltimore. They're not going back to Cleveland.
Right. And then Cleveland just went on that roll of amazing Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, one after another after another.
But I mean, for the guys who are, if you're one of those people that are like, the Redskins cannot change their name, it's all about tradition.
No.
In a Bleacher Report article where they have some potential new names, there's two that actually go along with that. One is just calling them the Washington Skins, take red out altogether, or call them the Washington Pigskins.
See, I think the Washington Skins still infers some sort of connotations behind it.
Well, because of what we know. Yeah, it's like you can't just take red off and expect us to forget
it's like the
what it
Tampa
means.
Bay Devil Rays.
Yes.
Right?
Now it's just the Rays.
Exactly. But how often, and that's been almost a decade since they took that off there. I mean, I still, from time to time, say Devil Rays.
The only difference is I don't see Devil Rays as racist as Redskins.
It's got the word devil in it, Ricky.
Yeah, so it's not
boogity boogity boo.
It's not disparaging towards an entire race of people.
No, it's just connecting, a sea mammal with the devil.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
to me, pigs out of the two, skins and pigskins. Of course, there's so many more names we have on this list.
Pigskins.
It sounds like Madden NFL. Like, hey, I'm relocating a team. Let's call them the Pigskins.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I think that would probably be an okay name for them. Not my leader, but I would probably be okay with it.
What about and I only say this because Miami of Ohio, the university, did it, Washington Redhawks. And then you change the logo from the Indian head just to the R that they already use.
Yeah, no, I think that's a slide in the right direction. I feel obviously it doesn't carry the same disparaging term towards Native Americans.
And I mean, you got to think that Miami of Ohio did the exact same thing. They were the Miami of Ohio Redskins. Now they're the Redhawks.
No. And so obviously it's okay. That's a fine name. So yeah, I think that wouldn't be a big change. But when we are looking at this Bleacher Report page, the one graphic that does stick out and look pretty awesome kind of reminds me of like old school wrestling federation. But
the WCW.
It just got the big W up there.
And Dave is mentioning, we're going to put it, this article will be down below and will be on our Twitter page, the Washington Warriors.
Yeah. It looks pretty badass.
To me, I don't know. I see the logo obviously I'm assuming this is a fan-made logo.
Yeah.
And to me, first off, the Washington Warriors, it just sounds kind of high school-y to me. Like it's a high school team.
A bit.
But also you can say, well, Ricky, there's the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors can be a pro team.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's nothing they couldn't go with. I think this looks, as long as they pick another direction to go with the team. I think that the strongest thing they could do is to not like tippy-toe across the line going to
Skins,
the Red Arrows or the Skins.
Braves.
Yeah, like that. No, I think they should just pick an entirely new direction and start anew.
And this is me. My top 3 out of all the lists in this Bleacher Report article. Warriors, because there's obviously a logo to it and it looks bamf. But the other 2, you can go Washington Senators.
Yeah.
Play off of you're in the Washington, D.C., or go Federals, where you have the Capitals and the Nationals and the Federals all in D.C.
Yeah, I think either one of those 3 options would be solid. Again, that's the way I would lean personally. Maybe otherwise you're just gonna have this conversation down the road a little bit. I feel like, and right now their line is Redskins is totally not acceptable. Maybe in 10 years, skins will be unacceptable because it still carries the same misnomer to it. So.
Or even pigskins.
Yeah.
If they change that. This is the thing I think of is, this just came to my mind. If you change your name, let's say either to the Federals or to the Senators, if you're the Redskins brass, if you're Dan Snyder, do you then say, hey, you know what? Let's do a complete revamp and every other team, Capitals, Wizards, Nationals, what do they all have in common that the Redskins don't have? Red, white, and blue colors.
There you go.
Do you go for that and say, hey, you know what? We're all in on the DC colors.
Yeah. And then that way you can start selling new jerseys, get new products out there.
Could you imagine that release party with RG? Like, just smoke comes out, RG3 in the new jersey, the red, white, and blue.
It would be pretty hard.
Red, white, and blue helmet on the side. You have
it looks awesome.
Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, more Deshaun Jackson.
Now I'm excited
Alfred
for
Morris.
it.
Yeah.
You're selling me on it.
There's a good way you can do this.
I'm imagining a less douchey version of how the big 3 came out on stage, the smoke pouring out and all up there.
I'm picturing
red, white, and blue in that.
I'm kind of picturing it how either for my homerism, the Illinois Fighting Illini, when they did their Nike rebrand, or to a more kind of, let's put it out there, like when the Charlotte Hornets came out with their new jerseys this week. They didn't have players in them, but you can make a big deal about it. And I feel like Senators and Federals, to me, is the way to go, because then you're playing into that Washington, D.C. kind of theme.
Yep.
But I don't know. The Warriors is kind of cool. And the only name we have not mentioned on this article, the Washington Renegades.
That just seems total XFL.
The Renegade. Or it sounds AFL.
Or AFL.
AFL, XFL, I guess are the same thing,
It sounds
right?
like B-League.
Yeah. Or
I'll just say it.
I mean, or it sounds like if that's the case, let's just go CFL, the Washington Rough Riders.
There you go. Just cross that border.
But we're going to go into now. That was a very short opening segment. We're going to go to the meat and potatoes now of the podcast. Dave, you came up with this kind of segment, this game. I'm going to let you describe it. What are we doing?
So just recently, Peyton Manning came out with some statements saying, look, I'm not even looking towards retirement yet. This is, I'm still playing. I don't want to say he's in his prime because he's not. But he's like, I'm not looking to retire anytime soon. I'm just going to play each season, go one by one.
The 1-year contract system.
Right. Which, okay, fine.
Didn't Jordan do that at the end of his contract?
Well, I mean, the Wiz, and no.
No, with the Bulls. Like 96, 97, he went 1 year, right?
I don't know.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. But
somebody's going to call us out on it if we don't say it.
I kind of feel like, but he is going to go the 1 years down.
Yeah.
Because he is 38.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Brett Favre played to 40.
Yeah, Brett Favre's an Iron Man. Brett Favre isn't a Sissy Manning, I'll say it. I'll say it. Yeah. But, so here's the thing. Got us thinking, well, okay, so what happens if he does turn out to retire after this year? Whether they win or not, if he's just, doesn't have it in him for next year.
God forbid there's an injury to his neck.
Yeah, that'd be worst case. I mean, you don't
gotta
wish that
throw
on
it out
anybody.
there, though. It could happen. I mean, I thought it was going to happen to Jay Cutler so many times, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
Especially after that Giants game, right?
Jeez. Oy.
So you're saying, let's say he retires.
Yeah.
Right now, the Broncos have...
After this year.
Zach Dysert, Brock Osweiler, and Brian Rayner from he's undrafted free agent from North Carolina. That's who they have on the roster.
You start to worry about that contingency plan. With those three guys, do you feel like you've got the guy who can stand up and, I don't want to say fill Peyton Manning's shoes because not possible unless you're Andrew Luck, which, wow, did they luck ass backwards into that.
See, I don't think so. And I know that when we were talking about this before we hit the record on the podcast, you brought up Brock Osweiler. Oh, he's a 3-year pro. Dysert's been around for 2 years. And I look at Brock Osweiler and I go, I don't think he has what it takes to get it done. And to me, I would even lean more as to, it wouldn't happen because the Broncos, obviously, if Peyton Manning said, I'm done at the end of the season, right. Broncos are in the playoffs. They're most likely the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, no way are they going to get a top pick.
So there's no way you're getting a Marcus Mariota, a Brett Hundley out of UCLA. I know that there's talks that he's going to stay at FSU until the 2016 draft or maybe later.
That famous Jameis.
Famous Jameis, yeah.
No, so you're going to be hoping either A, somebody falls down, or B, you're going to have to trade way up to get some value. I don't know. That's a scary position to be in. As a Broncos fan, you're kind of like, all right, this feels like the end of John's career,
Mm-hmm.
Ride out, hope for another championship, and then just call it a day. Like, all right, we'll see you in a couple of years kind of thing.
And the way I see it, and this is everyone's going to say, well, Ricky, you're just a huge homer at this point because I loved him coming into the 2014 NFL draft. The Broncos could have pulled a New England Patriot and said, hey, you know what? Let's pull the gun on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not going to start this year. Hey, even if Peyton plays for another 2-3 years, we have a guy in waiting, a guy that the scouts are saying this guy will be pro. He's almost right there at pro ready, just needs to get up to speed with the pro game. Right. And in 3 years, he can do that.
Right, and that put him in a similar position to what Aaron Rodgers went through, sitting behind a veteran quarterback, able to learn a little bit.
Except Peyton Manning's not going to go play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, probably
he already did that. He already left Indy.
Yeah, he's already done that at the end of his career. So, no, I'm honestly with you on that. I'm a bit surprised when they went quarterback 2 years in a row, picking up Osweiler and Dysert. So I guess they've got to be pretty okay with those two people. But
and technically you can say 3 years in a row with the undrafted free agent of Rayner out of North Carolina.
I guess.
Each year they've added a rookie quarterback to their roster. To me...
That almost sounds like they don't like what they've got.
Well, I'm throwing this out here right now.
Still looking.
You have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Peyton Manning's not getting cut. I'm saying Rayner doesn't make it to the season.
I'd probably agree with you.
So they're going to have Zach Dysert and Brock Osweiler. Those are your contingency plans. If Manning at the end of the season, we're saying no injury at the end of the year, just says, yeah, you know what, I'm not feeling
hanging
him
him
anymore.
Up. Yeah.
Or if he wins a Super Bowl, I'm going out on top.
Yeah. which, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
I mean, that's what Brett Favre was trying to do.
That's what John Elway did.
Yeah, that's what Elway,
You're there.
Yeah, so I mean,
come on.
To me, I do not think they have the future of their team on the roster. I feel like the future is playing in college.
I liked Zach Deiser. I love the tape. His college days were fantastic to watch. But, yeah, I just got some concerns about his game translating over to the pro level. So they're probably going to end up still looking.
Well, and the one thing I will say that Osweiler does bring to the table, he's 6'8". He is 6'8".
Okay, fantastic. You got a tall guy. I mean,
hey, everyone knocked the small guy for not being able to see over the line. Russell Wilson,
will have no
problem.
Okay, so we're going the total opposite way. I mean, he's not the most mobile guy, but
I mean, I look at another. I mean, of course, this is comparing Peyton Manning to Tom Brady again. I see the Patriots. They went ahead and got their contingency plan this year because this is the way I see it. They pick up Jimmy Garoppolo. And Garoppolo's going to be the third stringer this year. There is no doubt about it. But then you have Ryan Mallett, who he's going to walk at the end of the season.
People have been asking about him for a while now.
The Patriots, to me, aren't going to trade him away unless they get what they really want. They're not going to
They're probably looking for a second rounder for him at this point.
It's not going to be like okay, we're just going to get rid of him to get rid of him to get something.
Right.
If they don't get what they want, they're okay with just letting him walk. And the way I see it is Tom Brady, to me, 2 to 4 years after this one that he has left.
Yeah.
Probably 2 great years, 3 good years. That last 4th year is like, okay, we know this is his last year. And the way I see it, Mallett walks, Garoppolo sits and sits and sits and becomes the successor.
He's going to inherit the throne?
A
Bill Belichick?
Why not? I mean, he was the quarterback that everyone talked about in this 2014 draft of he's pro-ready. He just needs a year or two to learn a system, learn the speed of the pro game.
Well, and that is a huge thing because that Patriots offense moves like no other offense that we've seen in the NFL. Looks more like the style of a college system, almost, if I dare say. I mean, the amount of short passes that Tom Brady uses just to keep the chains moving is ridiculous. He is relying on no big-name wide receivers. He's going entirely on, I mean, if Gronk is healthy, awesome. There's your guy going forward. And that's exactly what you want to pair your young quarterback with, is a huge tight end who's not only a safety blanket, but an all-star.
They could, if the Patriots really wanted to, next year in the draft, if there's a big-time wide receiver, and when I say big-time, like a guy that could step in and
Since
be
when
quality,
have the Patriots drafted a wide receiver in like the first round?
They could. No, I'm saying not first round, but maybe early second, just like they did with Garoppolo. Like, hey, you know what? This guy's good. He could start. Boom. And then pair him up with Garoppolo when he starts. Hey, this is a guy that just needs to learn the speed of the game. Boom. Okay, stick him there and just start stacking and stacking.
See, I like the plan. I just don't see Belichick doing it because that's not their style. They went out. They've got like late round wide receivers between Dobson and I mean they're getting those guys to perform bit by bit, but it's just not their style to go out and get a splash in the draft, get somebody gigantic name. I mean, with a wide receiver, it's hard to get somebody without the ego too. If they're a good player, I mean, you're going to come in with a little swagger, and that's just not up to Belichick's standards.
The wideout is known as in the past, it's been known as the diva. Now everyone's saying that the corner is now the diva, but both of them pretty diva-like now. Another team that I'm kind of thinking with, and this is more going with is Arizona. They have Carson Palmer, who, to me, if he doesn't do well this season, there has to be a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Palmer's Brady and Manning are going to retire before Palmer. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, barring horrible injury, yes. I mean, Palmer's already playing on like a second life in the NFL after that horrible injury early in his career. But he is, I would say, probably next likely after Brady and Manning to go out. So...
And I mean,
the thing is, his numbers are pretty good.
I'm looking at Arizona's roster.
Yeah.
They have, behind Palmer, Drew Stanton.
Yeah, we saw what he could do.
Who's already 30. He played with Detroit and didn't do that well.
Yeah.
Then we have Ryan Lindley, who to me, we already saw that experiment before you got Carson Palmer. And then they got Logan Thomas, who, he's a quarterback. They just got him out of Virginia Tech. But there are signs that they're going to switch him to the tight end position, and he's okay with that. Yeah. He used to be a tight end. So, yet again, another team. You don't have that quarterback on the roster. And this is a team that could be 10-6, and they're in the middle of the pack.
Exactly. This is a fantastic defense, a pretty good offense, and they can keep going. And I almost want to be like, well, look, if they go out and get a quarterback this next offseason,
in the draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't expect a big free agency quarterback happening, but you know what? If it happens, it happens. I could see them absolutely plugging in another quarterback, and they're not going to drop 2 games. Like they'll still be able to win 8 games plus a year because of how well they've established their defense. They've gone out, they've drafted everyone they need to. Not just like you can shut down shop, but I mean, they've got their base to their system done. And
when we talk about, especially for these 3 teams, and the next team, the next phase that we're going to go into is more of a quarterbacks that could be replaced soon. The college quarterbacks that could be in the draft next season. Sean Manning, Oregon State, he's going to be there. He's a redshirt senior. You have Broxton Miller. This is his last year. He's going to be in the draft. Devin Gardner, Michigan. You have Brett Hundley, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston could be there. These are names that, especially to me, the guy that I feel like is flying under the radar, maybe it's just me, because whenever someone talks draft, I go, Mariota, Winston, and Hundley are my 3 guys.
Yeah.
Broxton. Miller. To me, he could be the guy that goes, if he doesn't go top, he'll Teddy Bridgewater style, just bam, right at the end of the first round.
I think he'll sink further than that. But I mean, you
think he's not going to be a first round pick?
I don't. I think that we're going to see somebody come out this college year and just blow completely up. I don't want to say as having the finish last year. Who was it?
Give me a team. Because the names that people are talking about, that like under tier, you have Bryce Petty at Baylor.
Baylor's totally a system.
To me, I'm thinking exactly what you said. It's a system. How is he going to go in the NFL? Also, a lot of people are talking Connor Cook, Michigan State, and more importantly, Taylor Kelly out of Arizona State. This is a guy that, especially coming into this year, of course he's right now projected 4 to 6, but he's a guy that people are saying you draft him, he could be a guy in waiting.
See, I was thinking, I'm like, Taylor maybe. But I'm expecting to see something like Blake Bortles, but not with the ridiculous finish that he had.
What about Everett Golson? Notre Dame. He's coming back this year.
Yeah, that's the question. A year off?
I mean, you also have Max Whittick could be in this draft. You're a big USC guy, except he's not going to play for the Trojans.
I would say no.
He didn't get that okay to transfer to Texas, did he?
No,
he did not.
But it doesn't matter.
What about
the whole thing is, I'm saying there's people who we don't know their name yet.
Yes, they're like a Jimmy Garoppolo, who played at a team like Eastern Illinois, where unless you live in Illinois or you're a fan of EIU, you're going, who's that? Or Jordan Lynch.
Who that practice squad. He's going to be the champion of the practice squad.
But here are some other teams that aren't looking at quarterbacks that are going to retire, but they're quarterbacks that could be gone at the end of the season. Andy Dalton, if he doesn't have a good year. Sam Bradford.
Andy Dalton, not just good year, a good playoff showing, which is the whole problem with him, is he can play okay in the regular season. He's a B quarterback, maybe even B plus quarterback most days in the NFL. Then playoffs come, and he just doesn't know what he's doing out there. It's been terrible performance after terrible performance.
This year, and I hate to tell you this, Bengal fans, but this might be a rough year for you guys, because not only is this is gonna be an important year for Dalton, he lost his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden goes to Washington, D.C., Mike Zimmer goes to Minnesota, 2 new coordinators.
Let's be fair. Jay Gruden's plan of throw the ball to A.J. Green, being his entire contingency plan.
And like I said, I could be proven wrung, but
I don't buy into Gruden. I'm sorry.
My gut feeling right now is that there's going to be, especially early on, some type of a learning curve.
I'm honestly hoping
the new coordinator.
I'm really hoping Joe is more involved in this offense next year. I loved
And you're
him.
talking about Giovanni Bernard.
Correct. I loved him his first year. I mean, just an explosive player. The legs go out. He reminds me of Darren Sproles a lot, but I think he's got higher upside.
And I mean, the thing that falls into Andy Dalton and the Bengals' favor is, I'm going to quote one of our favorite radio personalities, and Colin Cowherd. He came out with a bet this week. #HerdBet, or herd wager. And he said because the league is such a passing league, he can predict every single divisional champ for this season based on that. And the only division where he was like, I don't know. And he said Baltimore because of Flacco.
Yep.
AFC North.
Yeah.
So the Bengals could steal the division if Andy Dalton and the new offensive coordinator, new system can just lock up.
It's always a toss-up because you end up having the Steelers if Big Ben stays healthy, if that defense, I mean, how many games is Troy going to get for you?
The
you
Ravens,
don't know.
are they going to be back
The
to
Ravens
form?
bounce back. Who knows?
Does Johnny Manziel lead the Browns to the promised land?
Less likely, but possible.
And I mean,
the door is wide open for the Bengals.
I look at Dalton and say, okay, his like way to the playoffs and possible championship isn't as hard as a Sam Bradford, who even if he has a career contract year,
you just had to say his name.
Wait. If he has, let's say he does, for the sake of argument, have a career year.
Okay.
He's got to go up against Seattle twice, San Francisco twice, Arizona twice. To me, hardest division in football, NFC West.
Yeah, I know. But the weird thing is, they did okay against their own division last year. Surprisingly okay, the fact that they had the best record in their own division against each other.
But still, you have to still go up against them. And to me, the NFC West this year, every single game that's an NFC West divisional game, flip a coin, and you can pick who's right.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal.
But I mean, I look at their schedule. They still got to play Philly. They have to play, is Kansas City. They're a coin toss this year. They got to play Denver. They have to play, is Washington going to be a good team?
Spaghetti legs? I don't know.
Back? I mean, they have a little bit of a tougher schedule than they did last year, but still, hardest division in football. To me, when it's all said and done,
Bradford's out,
Dalton's in.
Ooh, okay.
Dalton will stay because the Bengals will be like, hey, you know what? It's not all his fault. Yada, yada, yada.
B, I don't think they have the correct quarterback on their team who will replace him.
You're talking Bengals?
Yeah.
Because right now I pulled up, for the sake of just getting the Rams out there, their quarterback is not on the team either. They have Austin Davis, Garrett Gilbert, your guy, and then Sean Hill.
Yeah, Garrett Gilbert had a fantastic one day.
Great
he just shined. After that, not so much. Before that, definitely not so much. He looked horrible.
And the quarterbacks on the Bengals roster, Dalton, they have McCarron.
Exactly.
They have Greg McElroy and Jason Campbell.
Yeah, tons of confidence in those backups. I'm sorry.
Hey, I could see A.J. McCarron being the guy. They also have quarterbacks Zach Robinson and Matt Scott.
Not going to make the team. But between Greg and AJ, no.
The two Bama guys? You just picking the two Bama guys on the roster?
I'm calling them out because they got carried by their team. That's what it is.
You
were on Alabama.
Team. You didn't. By the way, you know what you just reminded me of? Did you see the picture of Miss Catherine Webb this week?
No, I did not.
Tweeted a picture of what was it, 7, or it was all of AJ McCarron's like championship rings that they found when they were cleaning.
Oh, what happens to that luck? Just gotta post that up on.
Just her with a picture with all the rings covering her face.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, if we got Brent to like talk for all the games,
I mean,
I'd be okay
if you
want
to know how great she is, just ask Brent Musburger.
Absolutely,
he knows. Whoa, what a girl!
But no, I don't think that either of these guys. AJ's obviously an unknown commodity in the NFL. I'll give you that much, but I just don't.
This is the thing I think AJ brings to the table.
I don't think he's better.
He's not. AJ McCarron's not going to be that quarterback that's like, okay, I'm going to put the team on my back, He's going to be the guy that just goes out there, and the way he plays, it's like, okay, he just wins games. He just wins games.
Oh, my God. Thanks, Tebow.
No, it's not a Tebow thing.
He's a gamer?
No, he's not a gamer. It's just he's
not a
team
showy
player. He is the definition of a team player.
So he's a game manager, is what you're telling me.
Okay, a game manager. You could put it that way.
We'll just toss him into that whole category. I think that's actually pretty fitting for him. He doesn't make those standout plays that often, and when he does, it's few and far between. So,
and I mean, look at the type of running backs that he had at Alabama. Maybe a little Giovanni Bernard action. Oh no, it's blowing my mind.
I still think the better chance to win would be to retain Dalton. I don't like it because Dalton apparently doesn't know how to play in the playoffs, but I'll take regular season wins over. Well, that's disappointing. That's actually, which would you take? Would you take a 9-win season knowing that you're going to lose in the first round every year of the playoffs? Or would you throw a risk in there, get rid of Dalton, and see what you got?
So, okay, I'm getting this right. I'm either...
You're going to win at least 9 games.
I'm guaranteed, let's say for the next 5 years, I'm guaranteed 9-win seasons.
9+ wins, yep.
Every year, and we'll lose in the first round.
Yep.
Or
you
the
roll the
possibility
dice.
Of winning the playoffs for 1 year. Possible Super Bowl for 1 year. Not even guaranteed Super Bowl.
Well, we're not guaranteeing anything. It's a total wild card.
So I'd go with the wild card because I'd get in the playoffs all the time, but then I'm just disappointed.
Exactly. Ending the season on that sour note, knowing that you're not going to make it to the next level.
What about this? Here's another team I'm throwing out there.
Okay.
And we talked about them last week with Brandon Flowers, and we kind of threw Alex Smith in there. Smith, a guy who could be released. He's on a contract year. Yet again, who's sitting behind him and waiting? SEC quarterback Aaron Murray.
Aaron Murray, too much swag. Like that's the description of that man.
You've got Tyler Bray and Chase Daniels, some other SEC quarterbacks sitting behind him. But to me, I feel like if Alex Smith is gone, Aaron Murray's the guy.
I feel more confident in Aaron Murray. I'll be honest with you. His attitude is his biggest problem. Talent-wise, I think he's okay.
Murray and McCarron were like one quarterback.
You'd be pretty good.
The attitude of Murray with the play of both of them. More of the arm of Murray than McCarron.
So McCarron's attitude, Murray's talent.
Yeah. He'd be one great quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then match Murray up with the offensive weapon that we're going to see this year in DeAnthony Thomas.
This is not like we can't just morph people together, though. That's not a thing.
I'm not saying morph them together. Next year, see Aaron Murray play along with the offensive weapon that we're going to see this year because he's going to play DeAnthony Thomas.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think Alex Smith, legit. He's a legit quarterback.
He's the only one on this.
I feel bad for him.
Dalton, Bradford, or Smith. I almost called him Hill. Smith is the only one that I think would keep.
I would absolutely guarantee. I would keep Alex Smith unless something horrible happens where he just got lost.
I'm even saying if Bradford gets a career year, I still wouldn't keep him.
Well, it's
1 year. I mean, look at the career years that we've had. Contract year, Manning wins a Super Bowl. Flacco wins a Super Bowl. And the only one to win Super Bowls after that were Manning.
Yeah, it's true.
Eli, I should say, not Peyton.
So far.
Eli has 2.
Yeah.
Manning's been to 2.
Just not so successful in that second.
But Alex Smith this year
he's got a great offensively minded coach. He's got some weapons around him.
As we've called him last week, because you weren't here, I said he was the pseudo quarterback whisperer, Andy Reid.
Cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
That's
because obviously Tressman is the quarterback whisperer.
Hey man, we can just turn backups into Pro Bowlers any day of the week.
You can turn them into starters in Tampa Bay for your ex-coaches.
There you go. Hand them out freebies. But no, I think that Alex Smith is a very good quarterback, and I feel bad for the guy because he had to go through what he had to go through in his early years in San Francisco. When you remember, Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers came out in the same year.
First overall pick, right?
Same year, Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers. And
Smith was the first overall pick, right?
Smith did go before Rodgers, yeah. So
and look at the success that Aaron Rodgers has had. But Aaron Rodgers,
look at where they went.
Aaron Rodgers did get to sit behind the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
Well, some say. And Alex Smith instead,
the Iron Man, Brett Favre.
Alex Smith instead got thrown to the wolves behind no offensive line. Multiple coaches who were questionable in thought. I'm pretty sure Mike Singletary called him out as a and just benched him.
I mean, come on. Aaron Rodgers
man had no faith in.
Aaron Rodgers did play for a team that if Brett Favre were to stay, they still would have made the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was just, okay, we're going to take this quarterback out and plug this guy in.
Yep. I mean, he did a fantastic job, though. And that Aaron Rodgers has lived up to be probably the third best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Fantastic job. I just think Alex Smith probably could have done
And then
almost as well.
And then when Colin Kaepernick
They're
came
very
in,
similar.
Colin Kaepernick just threw the wheels off. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, now who do we go with? Are we going to start who?
And that was the thing. I was like, they had too much of a good thing. Like, Alex Smith, well, you know, he's a ridiculously high percentage passer.
He played well that year.
Yeah, I remember like his games, he'd be like 14 of 15.
Didn't he get
11 of
injured?
12.
That's why Kaepernick originally got the start?
Yep, his first start against the Bears. That was,
that was a great
some
game.
nightmares.
That was a great game for me because I'm a Viking fan.
It's an eye-opener.
It's an eye-opener. But I feel like the Chiefs, their problems this year are not going to be Alex Smith.
No.
It's going to be the defense.
I think they're going to keep Alex Smith going forward, probably give him another 4-year contract, and then, you know, down the line, year 3, probably look for that quarterback for the next stage of the franchise. But I think Alex Smith absolutely can take this team to the playoffs again and again.
I'm going to throw a shocker at you. This is not going to happen.
Okay.
But this is a given situation is, let's say Jay Cutler gets injured.
Wow, big surprise.
It's a career-ending injury. You're the Bears fan. What do you do?
Shrug my shoulders. That's the Jay Cutler response.
What do you do if Cutler has a career-ending injury? Finally.
I'm pretty sure
at this point.
I'm pretty sure Brandon Marshall would hold a funeral.
Brandon Marshall would refuse to play.
Yeah. But no, obviously.
Is David Fales your quarterback in waiting?
No. I haven't seen him play enough.
Or is Jimmy Clausen your quarterback in waiting?
Jimmy Clausen is most certainly not the quarterback in waiting. I'm thinking we're going to the draft, but honestly,
you do have Jordan Palmer.
Jordan Palmer as a backup.
Or Jordan Lynch, the two Jordans.
Yeah.
Jordan squared.
Jordan squared. No, I would probably. I'm curious to see what David Fales is like. I haven't seen enough of his tape to know him as a quarterback. You haven't
watched enough San Jose State, Dave?
It didn't register on my top films to watch. Sorry about that.
Dave's top 8 is like USC, followed by USC, followed by Alabama, followed by another USC.
I used to be more of a USC fan, not so much.
They stopped winning.
No,
so
I stopped Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was the reason I love USC.
I just like throwing some guff your way.
I know. Guff. Getting real. That hard talk. No, I would say that we would be okay because
Does
of
Matt
Trestman.
Forte become a more integral part of the offense?
How can he possibly be a more integral part of our offense? He's already like the key to our offense running. Yeah. He's the second best running back in the NFL. I just gets no credit for it.
I just wanted to throw it out there because throwing at the Jay Cutler getting injured.
I know. He always gets injured though. That's the thing. I feel like we need to go out and spend a high draft pick on a quarterback. And
hey, I mean,
the one thing
David Fales was a 3rd, 4th rounder?
I don't know.
3rd or 4th?
Yeah.
I believe he was not that late in the draft. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Stat check myself.
All right. While you do that, I'll just think about this. So, as a Bears fan, okay, we got Trestman. He was a 6th rounder.
6th rounder.
Kind of late in the draft.
7th pick of the 6th round.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
We've seen stranger things, though.
Yeah,
Brady.
Oh, Brady was a 6th rounder. That's
there
correct.
There you go. No. Yeah, so we're all counting on David Fales to be the Tom Brady of the future. As a Bears fan, that's what we're going to go with.
If Cutler gets injured.
If Cutler goes down for the count, you know?
But I mean, I
honestly want to see the Bears go with a mobile quarterback.
A Johnny Manziel? A Jordan Lynch?
A Jordan Lynch.
No. But here, let's end the podcast on a more serious note. We talked about quarterbacks that could retire. We're going to do now, because Houston named their starter, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yay, Fitzmagic.
What about some quarterbacks like, I'm not going to say Johnny Manziel. I'm going to say more so the Teddy Bridgewater, those type of rookies. Is Teddy Bridgewater, we saw film from him this week.
His OTA minicamps.
Does he start? Do you think he starts based on that film?
It's a small window. I think he does, though. Honestly,
You'd want him to start.
I know. I've been a big hater of him, too. Actually, I just like to make fun of him and his gloves.
Yeah, and because I'm a Vikings fan.
That too. But no, I think that Castle, fantastic backup.
Because you only have one bad remark to say about the film.
Yeah, and it's his arm positioning. When he goes his throwing motion, he drops his shoulder, his elbow down for short passes. It's just a sign, not a sign, but it's not what you're looking for in a quarterback throwing motion. You want that arm to be up.
Though.
It is. It's entirely
workable.
fixed. Yeah. Look, if they can rework Tebow's entire throwing motion in offseason, anything is possible.
Hey, that's a USC guy that did that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Geniuses, right?
But I mean, this is me as a Vikings fan.
Hang on, let me just finish up critique a little bit.
Okay. I'm getting too antsy here.
You are. So yeah, aside from the arm motion being a little off on short throws, he's got a good quick release. He's got some force behind his throws, much more accurate than we had seen on his previous pro day, which thank God for that because that was a disgrace. I mean,
he wasn't wearing the gloves though.
And now he is. He's got the gloves on now. No, I'm pretty confident in him. And the whole thing is, well, what happens under pressure? Well, that's what I kind of am excited for because he worked pretty well under pressure last year.
I'm pretty much right down the middle when it comes to either, because right now the Vikings are leaning one of two ways. We're either going to start Matt Castle or start Teddy Bridgewater. And I look at either or, and I go, whatever. Do what you want to do because
do you think
there's positives
either
to
one
both.
Gives you a better chance to win now than win later?
I'll be honest.
Do you think Castle gives you a chance to go to the playoffs this year?
See, I don't even care about that.
Really?
I'm not even thinking about play. I'm thinking of it as if Bridgewater sits or starts, either one is going to be beneficial because if he starts, he's actually going to get that game to game. And I don't care if let's say he goes 4 wins. He's not going to be knocked back enough. And the way Norv Turner's system works, Norv Turner can slightly change and modify his system to fit Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, Matt Castle fits his system more right now, and that's what I feel like we're going to do. We'll start Castle, and then behind the scenes, Norv Turner's kind of fixing his system, going, hey, Teddy, this is...
Well,
that's
what
we're
I
doing
want to
for
say
you.
is don't you want him to get in there and get that system, get comfortable with it? So
Hey,
come year 2, year 3, he's very comfortable in it. You know, you don't have to have that second thought being like, wait, what am I doing on this play again?
Either way works. And I feel like what the Vikings are going to do is start Castle to begin the season, and then if we do bad, Teddy Bridgewater comes in because Teddy Bridgewater is our quarterback of the future.
You got to start worrying about that clock on Adrian Peterson. I think you got to start Teddy right now and go for it.
I want to see Teddy start game 1. I want to see him, but if Matt Castle, if he starts, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they should have started Teddy Bridgewater because Norv Turner's too good of an offensive mind to worry about those things.
Yeah,
he did work with Phillip Rivers. Look at what he did with Brian Hoyer in Cleveland. He even and this is the reason why I think Castle's going to start. When he was in Cleveland last year, he wanted the Browns to sign Castle, and they wouldn't.
Yeah, no, so he definitely has a relationship built up with Castle. He knows what he can do, what he can't do.
Or he just admires Castle so much to be like, man, what could that guy do in my system?
I mean, we saw what Matt Castle could do, obviously, for the Patriots, and then got passed over to
the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, got passed over to the Chiefs for a year plus. So,
and the thing with the Vikings that starting Bridgewater early on might be a bad thing because you get the Rams week 1 who could be a toss-up.
A toss-up? That defensive front for the Rams is horrifying.
The Rams everyone's high on the Rams.
I say you get Teddy Bridgewater so he can run away from them.
Everyone's high on the Rams, but really, in reality, we don't know what type of a team they're going to be.
That defensive front, you can't.
After that, between 2 and I'll say 6.
Okay.
New England, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay, and I'm even throwing Detroit in there. That's a gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're not going to win.
That's a gauntlet for Teddy
You're not going to win 2 games there. Atlanta's your best chance, and that's if they play as terrible as last year.
Atlanta's defense is the
if they
worst
play as
part
terrible
of that
as
team,
last year.
But they're not going to have no 4-win season this year. They're going to have more than that. And I mean, New Orleans, New England, Green Bay.
You're going to New Orleans
night.
too.
Yeah,
so,
and
sorry.
we're going to Lambeau too.
Well, it's only October. Lambeau'll still be above frigid.
I mean, after the bye week, after you get past Chicago, Green Bay, the rest of that before the Chicago, Carolina, New York, Detroit won't be in it at that point, and Miami. That's
reasonable.
That's the sweet spot for if we're not in a playoff run, throw Teddy in there and he can have some success going into year 2. I worry about Teddy starting right away, doing bad between that week 2 to week 6 frame, and then boom, there's his whole mindset is just cracked. And I know what you're gonna say, people.
Yo, Gabba Gabba.
You're gonna say, "Oh, Ricky, do you really want a quarterback that's like that though, who's so fragile in the mind?"
And see, I don't buy into that. I'm sure some people do, but I mean, quarterbacks get put in those bad positions. We talked about Alex Smith just earlier this show. You got to think about David Carr. I mean, ugh. I'm sorry, David or Derek. I always get the two brothers confused.
Derek is currently on the Raiders.
Derek is currently on the Raiders. Kudos to him. He's now the number 2 quarterback
He's
on the
behind
team.
the Schwabster.
Yes.
The
He's going for revenge for his brother.
You destroyed my brother. It is time to die.
Pretty much.
Do they do a like anime like karate battle?
I
like
want to
samurai battle?
I want to have them do like a cheesy 80s like sword fight.
Like samurai
like Kill
fight?
Bill style, yeah.
You have now killed my brother. I know, it was delicious.
Schwab didn't eat him.
He could have.
No.
Carr, it's what's for dinner.
Gabbert, I mean...
Another weak-minded. Oh, you could say weak-minded.
Yeah, there's a lot of young quarterbacks who get put in rough positions, and just after a year Sanchez is the opposite way, though, because he started off fantastic and then went downhill.
Yeah, but he also had a defense behind him.
That's I know, which is why he started off fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the end of that career.
His career's not over. He's a backup right now.
True. I mean, yeah.
Hey, he's behind the great one, Nick Foles.
The great one. But yeah, bottom line with
I
Teddy
think
Bridgewater,
being worried about being shell-shocked is a legit concern for you, though. That's starting schedule is rough.
I could care less what they do with Castle or Bridgewater because point is, we're not winning the Super Bowl this year.
Probably not.
We probably won't even win the division.
And
wild card at the most.
No, I'm sorry. I'll just shut you down.
I said at the most. I said that's if we get lucky. And
if Cutler breaks himself.
Yeah,
and
I know.
The Lions become the Lions.
I'm not saying like Vikings wild card. I'm saying that's the best we're going to do if we have a phenomenal season.
And you guys made it there before without a quarterback. I mean, Christian Ponder.
Joe Webb.
No, well, the combination of Christian Ponder and Joe Webb.
Because Joe Webb, I believe, played in most of that Green Bay game.
Yeah.
Then Ponder was injured with a concussion, I think it was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That
was not a good game. That was not a good game. I was sitting with Bears fans who don't know how to.
Yeah, well,
that was besides the story. Bears fans who don't know how to talk football. That's what pisses me off.
That's the worst. Other backup quarterback news, though.
Because those fans, I just want to get this right off.
Yeah.
First off, they hate the Packers just because they're Bear fans. And then you don't know how to talk football. So I'm sitting there with some type of football knowledge going, oh my God, I just don't even want to waste my breath.
Because
don't even want to waste my breath. Because all it is I hate Green Bay.
Yep. That's rough. No, I think all of us have been in those rooms before. So it's a you just got to bite your tongue at that time. Just let it pass. In other backup related news, Terrell Pryor saying that it's not going to be a wide receiver. You know, he gets the move up to Seattle and
Marcus Vick.
He refuses.
Whatever.
No, he's like, I don't got the hands for it.
Patty White.
And I'm thinking, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad move. He's got good size. And all I can go back to is the Steelers, actually, with Antoine Randall. I mean, those trick plays the Steelers pulled off. It gives you some options. And you got to think that, obviously, Terrell Pryor not going to get too many starts over the Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson.
Let's just say, speaking on the mindset thing that we talked about with Teddy Bridgewater in a different aspect, there's something that comes of me of a guy that's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have good hands. I want to see the mindset of, you know what? I will try
I'll do anything it takes to be on this roster.
I want to play in the NFL, not sit on a bench, Daniel Tosh style.
Nice.
Well, I could be a third stringer. They make, what, $400K?
I love that bit. The Brett Favre bit by Daniel Tosh is genius. But no, honestly, I'm a bit surprised because you heard this year several players in the draft were like, yeah, I changed positions to play for a team.
Guy we talked about when we mentioned Carson Palmer and that Logan Thomas who's like, yeah, I'll play tight end. I used to play tight end.
So Terrell Pryor, step up, go be a wide receiver number 4 or something. Help your team out. You're playing for the world champions. Seriously, do you want a roster
The world
slot?
beaters, as we call them.
Do you want to be on that roster? That's all you have to ask yourself.
Do you want to get punched in the face by Richard Sherman during OTAs?
Ooh, that could be fun.
That's a better question.
Maybe that's why he's ducking out on the wide receiver spot.
You know what? I don't want to get punched in the face by Sherman, the Madden cover boy.
Can I play wide receiver while wearing one of those red shirts? That's a deal.
But that's going to do it for the Onside Kick this week. As always, tell us what you think down below about any of the stuff that we talked about today. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Dave's not personally on Twitter. I am, though, at Ricky Widmer. And also, check out our bonus podcast that we're going to do about the NBA. A little Carmelo Anthony for you. So check that out, too. And as always, have a good day, everybody.